Yeah, I have 2 more minutes. No, so a white lie, you end up feeling like, okay, in some circumstances you shouldn't really pay your debt of giving him the key back because you're trying to protect him and everyone else, really, right? So there are occasions when tell the truth and pay your debts don't really work for every situation, right? So they switch to one more definition, and it's give each his own, geho, G-E-H-O, geho. And this one ends up being the one they'll accept, okay? So we want everyone to be in a society where everyone gets what they deserve according to their personality type. And so we end up then getting a psychology where there's 3 basic kinds of types of people. You can think about all the different historical situations where we get this. The Middle Ages, where you have the serfs, you have the noble class that is the military, basically, and you have the clerics, who are the priesthood class. That's the class structure that they're going to argue for in the Republic. But I'll quit for now, and we'll pick up on this next week. But also read ahead into Aristotle. You'll like Aristotle a lot more. He's much more common sense. But at the same time, his writings are much more boring. We don't think of Aristotle's philosophy as literature. Plato is thought of as literature. Good reading. Aristotle puts people to sleep. But he's much better philosophically when we figure out. And you, sir, need a longer jacket.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't think they make jackets long enough for me, though.
They don't? Oh, shoot. Well, yeah, I guess. See, I don't have that trouble.
Did you define sovereign citizen when you're talking about as a judgment?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
That's what I picked out of. That's what I picked out of it when you were talking about as a judge. If you followed that government set of rules, you had to fall under that judge.
Yeah. Well, the contemporary argument that we have here, especially some groups in Alaska, argue I'm a sovereign. Yeah. That is, as far as I know, a really new explanation of our connection to that. We're going to go through a lot of history before we get to that.
Gotcha.
The social contract theory is terrific. When we get into that, that's Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Rousseau. Good stuff. Are you having fun still?
Yes, I am. I wanted to mention something that I saw in a book. It was called 4,000 Weeks Time Management for Mortals, and it was talking about how kind of how Plato was talking about how the soul is already formed and our personality is formed, and then we unlock those inner things. And I guess it was a Jewish tradition where the soul of the baby travels through the universe, gains all this knowledge, and then it's put into a body, and then it experiences amnesia. I just could not find it at all. I don't know
where it was, but you've read it.
Yeah, I read it in the book not too long ago.
You could search on Google. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was trying. I could not find it. And I'm a Jewish tradition that you think would be obvious, but I don't know. But yeah, it was very interesting. So yeah.
Yeah. I didn't answer the question about the interrelationship between the Bible and the Republic, or any of Plato really. Mm-hmm. And part of that is that I'm not sure how much influence any of obviously the New Testament wouldn't have been available.
Yeah.
But the Old Testament arguably was available. In fact, even Pythagoras, who was one of Plato's teachers, was apparently influenced by things he heard that the Jewish historian Josephus, however you spell it.
Yeah.
Well, it's spelled Josephus, how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
But he argued in the defense of Apion that Pythagoras basically stole a lot of Jewish ideas.
Oh.
which if Pythagoras got them, that would have mean that Plato would have heard them. So there would have been an interesting connection there.
Yeah, I was trying to look that up to see if there was a connection, because I know it's Old Testament time, so, but yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Do you find it hard to have small talk with like all these ideas? Because I feel like these kind of ideas aren't talked about in the day-to-day life. Like nobody, they'd be like, oh, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? To think like deeply on these topics. Like, do you have?
Well, I do it all the time.
Yeah, so I
And a
guess
lot
it's
of
like,
my friends all do too.
That's good.
You know, I'm when I get home at 4:00, we're going to have a discussion about some formula that kind of predicts when a country is going to go to war or not.
Oh, well, that's
You know,
cool.
it was shared by, the one friend is a retired history professor,
Yeah.
and the other one is a retired philosophy professor from APU. One is in St. Paul, and the other one is Knoxville, Tennessee.
Wow.
But thank
Yeah.
you, Zoom.
You'll find your
We'll
yeah.
we'll all be together in my garage.
Nice.
Basically.
That's awesome.
No, so I get to talk about this stuff, and I think about it, of course, all the
Yeah.
time. And I have one daughter who got a bachelor's in philosophy and a bachelor's in psychology, and so she talks about this stuff if I bring it up,
Yeah.
and so on.
That's amazing.
But yeah, normally if you're in cars and you start talking about the soul and stuff, it kind of throws people,
Or just anybody, I know. Well, thank you, Professor Ball. See you later.
Yes.
Good day.
Chelsea, see you next week. Be safe.
Yeah, you too.
We got the weirdest weather.
I know, right? It's crazy.
They stole our snow down in
It's still our snow.
Pensacola.
Yeah.
Pensacola, Florida. Florida's not supposed to have snow.